Looks like we're setting up this next match right now.
I believe MrAquary has gone with Sonya Blade.
Interesting. I mean, Sonya Blade is a very powerful character. She pretty much always has been. In 9, she was very dangerous too. But it's going to be a match of do not let this character get started.
What you did to Jax.
Die avenging him.
I love these intro dialogues.
It's like trash talk. Even if the players won't do it, the characters will.
Well, as we said though, straight into the unsafe cartwheel, but his read was successful. This guy will go nuts.
Just like that. It was blocked, but he still committed to the cartwheel, which gave him this entire damage, this entire
and there's
sequence.
an overhead again. I mean, he's going nuts. And it's paying off. Unfortunately, does drop the combo. He spent the bar to get off, but it doesn't really hurt much, and he's still in the corner.
And he's just committed to the low. There was no way he had time to confirm that, but he got the read. He is reading time after time after time after time, and he has taken round 1 very quickly.
puls4r, I mean, we've said before, this guy can keep it composed, so hopefully he can keep his stuff together. That's to be a meter burn. He blocks successfully, but forgets about the follow-up on the string. That string is overhead low, so you must block high and then low instantly. We're looking at some potential unfamiliarity here. I don't think he's familiar with some of these strings.
Well, even if you know how to block Sonya, at the end of the day, 50-50 is a 50-50.
Of course, and that's going to be a very, he must break in that situation. Unfortunately, he has no stamina now, so it's going to be hard for him to be agile, but he does get the 50-50 of his own. This character does have an overhead and a low, both of which will go into the soul ball, but that was a very costly combo drop.
He drops and then whiffs a normal, which just gives MrAquary a free punish as he stands up.
You just know that that string was going to go into soul ball, and the soul ball stuns for another 50-50. Doesn't quite get the combo. He goes for the overhead, but is unsuccessful.
Gets punished for it as well.
One of the things about MrAquary in this game is that he has got 50-50s, but they are, when committed to their max damage, they are both unsafe. And as we just saw there, MrAquary blocks correctly on the overhead and does punish accordingly, and it costs him the game.
When you play a character like that, it's a question of, yes, you can win in one touch, or you could lose by guessing wrong that one time. And that's what we saw. He had his 50-50s blocked consistently, and that cost him a lot of health. But at the same time, he was getting hit by all of MrAquary's. So it's a hard match. It's a hard match to come back from.
They are both momentum characters. That's the reality. I mean, both characters want to get their game going. I mean, Master of Souls MrAquary, he has this vortex, he has this mix-up game that Sonya also has. Both characters will do a similar job, slightly differently, but the principles are still there. So in these kind of matchups, it's all about just getting your thing going and just trying to keep it going as much as possible, and just don't let them start their own thing. Because a character like Sonya, if she gets going, she's very hard to stop. She has the low, she has the overhead, both will full combo into the same situation once again. And if you let her start that, then it's kind of hard to deal with, especially if you get put in the corner or in a situation like a hard knockdown. So if you've got a character that yourself has good momentum, like MrAquary can do, when he gets going, he can shut you down entirely.
You just have to start it first, really. That's what it comes down to.
First hit is very important in these sets.
Well, especially the barometer, because it gives you the breaker. Breakers are a really good way to help yourself defend against this sort of play. So not having a breaker and then get hit by a 50-50, which will then loop back into itself, is a nasty place to be.
Especially seeing as both characters have these 50-50s.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're different. I mean, a lot of characters in this game have 50-50 strings. By 50-50, we mean overhead or low, where you must block high, you must block low, and if you guess wrong, you'll get punished for your troubles. But I mean, a lot of characters in this game have them, but the characters have different ways of kind of just applying those, really. And obviously, MrAquary is one of those players that plays 2 characters, Aaron Black and Sonya, that both have those kind of strengths to them. I mean, puls4r has been sticking with MrAquary. He's been doing really well, but it's quite overwhelming.
Well, at this point in the tournament, we're looking between a loss now is the difference between $100 and getting nothing. So this is where it counts. Like, obviously, every match counts, but this is where your money is on the line, really. Because if you get past this point, yes, if you lose, it's bad because you don't get as much, but you think, well, at least I still made a bit of cash. But it's also the points. It's the points you lose as well.
The all-important placement points.
But it's only been one game. It's only been one game. So puls4r could make this comeback. We'll have to see. It depends if he can deal with the Sonya pressure, because right now he is just getting opened up by everything that MrAquary is doing.
It's one of the adaptations that he must make, because as I mentioned before, MrAquary is he's fearless. This guy doesn't care if he gets punished, because if he is right, if his read is correct, and he gets that pressure, he'll full combo you into that same situation again. However, he is still going into these. So I think the thing to acknowledge here is that if he's going into a low or an overhead and is committing into these unsafe specials, if you can guess right on the pressure, instead of it being minus and then that's your situation, if you guess right against Sonya Blade, in this situation, she's full combat punishable, and that is the one opening you need as MrAquary to get going and keep him stuck the whole game.
Well, it's a question of he's got the damage. He has the damage himself to make this count.
And a lot of it is meterless because of the soul ball.
Yeah, so he's going to have breakers by default, really. If he just conserves his meter. I mean, he's been using a lot of meter to interrupt, using these meter burn, you know, the blasts, the green blasts, whatever they're called. But it is armored, so if he thinks he's going to press a button, he can use that to blow through it and get momentum himself. But doing that means you're one step away from having a breaker yourself to get out of it if you do get attacked.
Against these mix-ups characters, you do kind of need to save breaker whenever possible. And if you're a character like MrAquary, especially Master of Souls, that doesn't spend a lot of meter to obtain the damage, then you can just keep your meter for breakers. I mean, especially against a character like Sonya, where, you know, if you ever get tagged that one time, you don't want to take those mix-ups and you don't want to take that damage, because a lot of her damage is also meterless. And then she can break the second you tag her. So it's, again, as we said, who touches who first.
It's a match of both characters doing the same thing. I mean, and we say it before, but a lot of characters have this sort of game plan. They just do it slightly differently. But it looks like they are going to be going with the characters again. We're going to see MrAquary versus Sonya Blade. How will this one go? I mean, the same variations as you'd expect, but does manage to get... He loses the first hit, which, you know, against Sonya,
commits into the overhead. Yes, as we mentioned, those unsafe 50-50s where he committed into the overhead and was full combo punished. And here we go again. He does need to break. And that dive kick's going to knock him down. And here comes another combo string. It's all Sonya Blade right now. And that's the unsafe cartwheel. The unsafe cartwheel. This man has no fear.
But there's no reason to get hit by that cartwheel. If you know he's doing it, it will come. You block it, it's gonna come. So just block it and then punish. puls4r needs to really keep himself together and start punishing correctly, because right now he's missing out on a whole round's worth of damage. And then he drops. Oh no, puls4r is looking really flustered right now.
I feel like he's being very overwhelmed. I mean, that's the thing. Characters like this, they can have that effect on you. I mean, if they get going and then you get overwhelmed, that X-ray was very ballsy.
He whiff punished it with the down one. puls4r has really got to start getting more damage on the table. He is missing out on countless opportunities to really win this round.
It's not looking good, and that's going to be another full combo. Such a swift game. I mean, if he, and that's going to be game 2. He's getting overrun here by Sonya.
From what I'm seeing,
he's getting overrun.
I'm assuming that puls4r has never fought Sonya before. Because if you have never fought this character, or you're not aware with what she's got,
she'll run over you.
She has an overhead, low, overhead. So block high, block low, block high. Her military stance can go into a low, which is when, you know, she does that stance. She can then go low from there and then combo from it, or she can go a cartwheel. She's just got a low high, a low low. Like, she's hitting you all over the place. And if you don't know where these strings are going to hit, chances are you're just going to get blown up by it. And seeing this sort of play, I just have to assume that puls4r is not familiar with it. But either way, how do you get around it if you've not seen it before? Is get aggressive, get really aggressive, punish correctly, and get the damage where you can.
We're seeing MrAquary do a lot of unsafe stuff. I mean, it's successful. It really is successful. But he's doing strings on block. He's doing combo strings on block, and is then committing into overhead regardless of whether it's blocked or not. That overhead, the cartwheel, is so unsafe on block. I mean, if you block it, you get a free combo. Again, if you're MrAquary, you get a meterless punish into soul ball reset, into potentially more damage. Like, that is the one opportunity you need to get going. And I just don't quite feel like he's really capitalizing on those situations. But actually, he's changed characters.
As I say, we have seen
Imposter Shinnok.
He's now going to Imposter Shinnok. The move that Imposter takes from Sonya is the leg grab. So not really the most useful attack.
Do not critique, Mustard. Do not critique.
No, of course. I mean, I've seen puls4r play Shinnok. He knows what he's doing with the character. But he has really got to keep himself together. Like, drops like that, especially like Shinnok does not have the damage that MrAquary does. You need to make sure you're composed, especially like that. But that's what you want to see.
Here comes that Mimic mix-up into the grab. And we see a lot of people talk about Shinnok, and they say he's a bad character. The mix-up of the Mimic here is a string or a throw, because he gets a damage buff for 10 seconds after landing the Mimic. When you land the Mimic, you can do a grab, which is 16%, or you can go for a string. If they try and take the grab, they get hit by the string. Hopefully we can see some of that in Force Strike.
But both of them are safe. If you do a string, you can hit confirm it. Okay, he's blocking, I'm going to do something else. But his meter burn Amulet Strike gives him some crazy block pressure. But, you know, you have to have the meter to do that. And right now, he's only just built a bar.
He gets tagged by the string once again. Again, he's getting hit by the overhead into low. Good armor, but unfortunately actually whiffs. But that is all he needs to take out the first round. MrAquary, though, going into this next round with full bar, and Shinnok has none.
So beforehand, puls4r had access to the Mimic, which gave him that situation to get that throw damage. Right now, he's got her move, but he used it, so he now has access to his Mimic again, but he's getting hit by a full combo, and he is full on cornered. No meter to get off the ground.
By the overhead once again. This is all MrAquary right now. Does drop the combo, but at this point, it doesn't seem to matter. Blocks correctly, and that's full combo punishable. He now acknowledges.
There we go. He decided to go into a string. I wasn't sure if he knew it would punish it correctly, but he just went for the full-on string, got some good damage, and he is now out of the corner. This is where he needs to be. Gets the jump-in punch. Will he confirm?
Is he going to grab or go for a string? He tries to take the grab, and that is the mix-up. He tries to take the throw, and he needs a full combo because of it. If he mimics him once again, Oh, he commits to it. That's unsafe on block. And he's going to get punished for his troubles.
I hope he doesn't lose this round.
Oh, no.
No, he lost this round due to a move that wasn't even his.
How about that, Sonya? How about that?
Thing is, right, when you play Shinnok, if you have a move that isn't massively useful to you, you have to get rid of it as soon as you can. And I see him trying to do it, but in, like, even in a combo, end the combo in the move, get rid of it, so then you have your restand.
Ah, these costly drops. I really think puls4r is just quite flustered right now. In these situations, these aggressive characters, they can overwhelm you.
Decides to go low, catches him, not crouch blocking. That's what you want to see. Uses it as 35% damage.
Good
Lovely
throw.
grab. puls4r is bringing this one back with this great Shinnok play.
Oh, here we go. Are we
yeah.
going to see a tricky pull? Or is he? There's no reason. Yeah, just zone.
That's chip damage.
Chip damage. This character change seemed to be very important.
Oh, it's been good. I mean, what has he been doing here? He's catching the lows, he's catching the throws, he's getting good tricky portals in situations where he's really not expecting it. Because when you just do tricky portals with Shinnok at neutral space, it's very unsafe.
You jump, you follow him as he jumps, and as you see the tricky portal, you neutral jump punch to beat it.
But if you do it when he's getting off the ground, if you do it when he's doing an attack, then even if you don't punish it with a tricky portal, they're now having to deal with you being right in their face. This character swap is looking really good right now for puls4r.
But it's, as we've mentioned, the mimic mix-up of string or throw. So Shinnok has no true overhead starter. He can only start his combo from a mid or a low. So from the neutral game, there's really no reason to block high against Shinnok.
But that's where the tricky portal comes in to then start enforcing that. Not even the overhead from the jump kick or the punch, but just the fact that he has that really good mobility. Because a thing that people assume is the mix-up from the mimic is when they're tranced, it's a low or a throw, but realistically there's no reason to do that, because if someone is trying to take a throw when they're hit by a mimic, they're pressing buttons, which means that they'll get hit by any string, not just the low. So it's a string you can hit confirm to be safe, or a throw. MrAquary starts off very, very aggressive this time. This cartwheel seems very staple to his play. Again, here we go into cartwheel. But he's already cornered
kick,
after one attack. One sequence has already got him cornered, and he does guess wrong on the overhead, breaks out.
Oh, wake up dive kick. Very interesting stuff. That's quite unsafe on block, really. Oh, another wake up arc. He's being quite nuts with his meter. He's being quite crazy. He has to be full combo punishable if he does get it. Doesn't quite get the punish, but he does get checked by the last minute overhead of that string. One of the only overhead he actually has in a combo string, and it's right at the end. So it's not that bad if you get tagged by it. Oh, crazy stuff. MrAquary just going, and that's another 50-50 into a cartwheel. And this is going to be quite bad. Here we go, commits.
Again, no punish. Just seeing so much unfamiliarity with this character right now.
It does seem like he's just not familiar with Sonya. I mean, he's not punishing a lot of stuff. He's getting checked by a lot of strings. And I don't know, if you're familiar with the matchup, you know what your punishes are. You know what moves you can be. And it just doesn't look like puls4r has that knowledge. Lovely grab. As we mentioned, when you mimic, you get a damage increase. That's going to be a 16% throw. And here's the thing. You have to start going, is it worth accepting the fact that after every single touch, he's going to get an additional 16% from a guaranteed throw, or do I start taking those throws? If you're safe from the throw, that was a crazy X-ray! A lovely read on the anti-air.
Knowing MrAquary, this is going to be converted into a full 50% combo, which will basically...
He's in the corner. Can he get even more?
But think about it this way. If you get hit by Sonya's parry... Oh, he drops it. If you get hit by Sonya's parry, that's a 50% parry you're looking at.
Ooh, unsafe arc kick into instant dive kick. That was very unorthodox, but does seem to help him.
Lets him out of the corner. Interesting decision. Oh, gets hit by the armor.
Oh, he drops the combo. That's really bad for him. And this is not a great situation. One more touch will take it, but this could be everything. Has no meter to convert. The tricky pull, the dive kick catches him, and that will close out the game.
MrAquary takes that set 3-1. What a set. I like the character swap from puls4r, but I guess it just came a little bit too late.
And again, what really seemed to decide it was, I totally respect the character change. He understood it is not working with Ermac, and I should change his character, because we know he can play multiple characters. But what really changed that for him was just not punishing. MrAquary was doing loads of unsafe stuff, and he was blocking